Okay. So the first thing that I want to touch on is his accent. Okay. And so obviously it's out of his control because he has an accent and he can't, change it. But as we talked about with the voice principle, hearing somebody with an accent activates that portion of our brains that controls trust and biases. And so, I think that could contribute to overall maybe distrust or like feeling unsettled by the video, which I mean that's sort of the goal of the video, but when you really think about it, his accent kind of contributes to that. And that's, as we've talked about with the voice principle. But the first thing that I want to mention is when here he has the first nursery rhyme, Baba Black Sheep, playing with the lyrics like this. So having that, and he does it again at 3:41 here with London Bridge. So having the lyrics on the screen while you are listening to the song, I think could potentially be, cognitive overload a little bit, redundant because we're getting the visual and we're listening to it. But not only are we seeing it and listening to it, there's also the yellow highlight that's going from, lyric to lyric to lyric. And, this could be seen as redundant because we're straining to focus on listening but also looking at the lyrics and thinking about the lyrics, and so that could be seen as kind of a violation of the redundancy principle. um However, I do think that it's good visually to highlight which lyric you're on so that, you're not straining so much to listen to the lyric and figure out where you are in the song. You can see which one is highlighted as being which one is playing right now. Um, but something I did want to highlight as being something that I like that he did was actually right here. So here I would say this is this is relational because so he's trying to explain that Baba Black Sheep has origins since prior to slavery in the United States, which is why he's showing, the declaration here. So he by having the image with the year side by side is a really good way to represent visually the timeline. It's not complicated and it's very quick and easy to see. Oh, okay, Baba Black Sheep, the original 1744. 1776. That's 1744 is before 1776. So that is a good way to sort of show that timeline without it being overly complicated. Then the when he shows at 6:19. Ugh, I apologize for the ad. Okay. So here where he's talking about there was a fire and he shows the fire. This could be seen as a representational image, rather than helping because it could be distracting. I mean, you're talking about the fire and then you have this picture and I know me personally, I focused on the painting. It's not a photo, it's a painting, but I focused on the painting and had to rewind this little section to hear what he was saying because I was so focused on the painting. And so that kind of detracted, from what he was trying to say. It is a good example of a representational image, though, I would say. And then again, here is another representational image when he's talking about because of the houses that were built on the bridge, there was a fire. And so this is kind of a good representational image of the houses on the bridge. And this one I feel doesn't detract from the message as much because it was already shown. And at this point, he talks about he mentions the fire, but then at 7:39 here, he references he's talking about the plague of 1666. And as he's doing so, let me see if I can play it. Okay, there, you didn't hear it there, but he says, There was if you recall, there was also a fire in 1666. And I think it's funny that he says bad year. I think it emphasizes the fact this, really wasn't, there were a lot of things coinciding at the same, happening at the same time. And I think that's funny. I think it makes it a little more lighthearted. But, I think there are some maybe not violations, but light violations of the redundancy principle. I think, there was some cognitive strain for me watching this video. Um, and of course, like I said with the voice principle, it's not his fault that he has an accent. He can't control that, but it does sort of, it was distracting for me, I would say. Um, but I did enjoy this, and I think that aside from the few little things with the redundancy principle, I did learn